There was no African artifacts. There is no proof of Africans in the Americas prior to colonization.
And while I speak, it's not back in this video. So what I'm going to be reading from here is this piece of literature, which you're going to find absolutely fascinating. And obviously this is for Juan. I'm going to stop calling him the wolf now. We're just going to go with Juan. All right, Juan, here we go. Historia de la Nación Mexicana by Cuevas Mariano, 1879. Written by the father, Mariano Cuevas, of the Company of Jesus, Part 1, Pre-Hispanic Times. Pre-Your People Times. Doctor, honorary degree by the University of Louvain, Dean of the Mexican Academy of History, individual of number, correspondent of the Royal Spanish Academy, member of the Mexican Society of Geography and Statistics, of the Studies of Mexico City, corresponding member of the American History Society of Worcester, of the Geographical Society of Lima, and of the Colombian Society of History. Man, this guy's got a lot of credibility. So, publication date 1940. Topics: Mexico history. Publisher: Mexico DF Talleres Topográficos Modelo. Here we go. So you can see here. Wow, what are these, Juan? What you think I ain't got, bro? What I say is like, nature's word here, What you say is your worthless opinions.
1600s, those guys in Spain doing their thing back in those days, and that's the origin of the people we have in that part of Mexico, like that. I mean, that's true. But I was mentioning the Olmecs, right? The African thing, okay, with they say the lips, right?
See, this is the trip that I find. For years, for my entire life, all I've heard about with so-called, quote, black people is making jokes about their lips, their noses, and derogatory, obviously, and then all of a sudden, recently when people start talking about the Olmecs, we got a bunch of, quote, Mexicans, all of a sudden, like claiming big noses and big lips, white nose, big lips. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like Juan here has actually claimed that, we got Mexicans down there. Have you been down there, Juan? I have. I spent about 2 months down in Guatemala. We went to Guatemala City, Antigua, Flores, Tikal. I went to the ruins. I did everything, man. It was a beautiful time. And I remember being on a bus just like this. Little chicken buses everywhere we went. And I had a guide just like this. Now, never in my life have I ever heard of any, quote, Mexican or anybody that was brown, quote, brown, having wide noses and big lips. All of a sudden, though, we start talking about some history, and we got idiots like Juan.
As for the Olmec heads, those are representation of the descendants that are today living in central Mexico. They still look like that. The big lips, the wide noses. You guys are so ignorant that you guys spew the same rhetoric as racist America. And it makes sense because you grew up in the United States. The United States teaches you to hate your African heritage. It taught you to erase it. It taught your ancestors when they were slaves to erase any identity that they have of West Africa.
Oh yeah, no, we got big lips and wide noses. I'm like, shut your fucking mouth, bro. You are such a lying racist. Those characteristics have always been attributed to so-called, quote, black people. They are indigenous, period. Now people want to start getting all crazy about, no, we got black, big lips and wide nose. Shut up, bro. Just shut your mouth, idiot.
And the nose, right? Yeah. I guess it is. I mean, it's not something made by us, right? Someone 3,000 years ago, right, got, I guess, the idea to work on that, to show to the people back then the way they were looking, right? No doubt. No doubt, right?
Now, what do these look like, Juan? Huh? Do you see any resemblance to anything? Maybe somewhere way over east, you know what I'm saying? I mean, these are coming straight out the ground. The Yucatan. Pulled out by Mexicans. Like real Mexicans, not like halfers like yourself, bro. I mean, look at those things. Quite fascinating, wouldn't you say? Look up here, they got the little cow there. They resemble Isis and Osiris, possibly. Yeah. I mean, let's check it out for ourselves. I mean, why leave things to question? Figure 14, the famous statues of Acajutla, Arriba, to Egyptians in the Cairo Museum. Below, the 10 statues of Porfir and a drawing of the inscriptions. Now, these are translations that I made from my phone, so they might be a little off here and there. Just a fair warning. Actually, I want to go down to, where is it? We're going to go down to, I think it's 16. Here we go. The main ones here and even the famous labyrinth of Chichen have their respective similar on the margins of the Nile. Oh, this is the second translation, so I'm going to go to the first one because it seems to be a little more clear. Obviously, this is how thorough I am. Unlike Juan, I have to run this through at least a couple translations because just to be thorough, you know what I'm saying? So the two main ones, and even the famous Chichen Labyrinth, have their respective piers and on the margins of the Nile. Moving on to another terrain, the narrow clothing of women, the high som and perforado headdresses of men, the use of vegetable papers to translate their mythologies, and the historical features affirm increasingly this, even if remote, kinship. One more step in this sense, the step that no Americanist can no longer be understood, has been the happy discovery of two statues. 5 years ago, August 1914, on a rustic property of the honorary Archbishop of San Salvador, the Reverend Mr. Veoso, near the railway line in the port of Acajutla, all in the Mayan area. Professor Miguel Angel Gonzalez, making certain excavations by order of the aforementioned metropolitan, found these two precious specimens that we reproduce in special illustration. And it is noted that previously many similar ones have been found, which were despised and destroyed by ignorant indigenous people of the place.
Pseudoists who want nothing more than to erase indigenous history off this continent. You guys don't know really anything. You guys are just spewing and vomiting ignorant racism. There was no African artifacts. You guys are just spewing and vomiting. There is no proof ignorant racism of Africans in the Americas prior to colonization.
The genetic evidence for Africans among the Mexicans is quite interesting. This evidence supports the skeletal evidence that Africans have lived in Mexico for thousands of years. The foundational mtDNA lineages for Mexican Indians are lineages A, B, C and D. The frequencies of these lineages vary among population groups. For example, whereas lineages A, B and C were present among Maya at Quintana Roo, Maya at Copan lacked lineages A and B. 3. This supports Carolina Bonilla et al. View that heterogeneity is a major characteristic of Mexican population. 4. The mtDNA haplogroup common to Mexicans is also found among the Mande-speaking people and some East Africans. 4. 6. Haplogroup A found among Mixes and Mixtecs. 4. The Mande speakers carry mtDNA haplogroup A, which is common among Mexicans. 6. In addition to the Mande-speaking people of West Africa, Southeast Africa, Africans also carry mtDNA haplogroup A. 5. Underhill et al. Noted that one Mayan male, previously, has been shown to have an African Y chromosome 7. This is very interesting because the Maya language illustrates a Mande substratum. In addition to African genetic markers, the Mixes carry African Y chromosome dis 287. Yat plus. In Mixes, individuals who harbor dis 199C allele. 8. James L. Guthrie, 2000, in a study of the HLAs in indigenous American populations, found that the vantagen of the rhesus system, considered to be an indication of African ancestry, among Indians in Belize and Mexico, centers of Mayan civilization. 9. Dr. Guthrie also noted that A28 common among Africans has high frequencies among Eastern Maya. It is interesting to note that the Odomi, a Mexican group identified as being of African origin, and 6 Mayan groups show the B allele of the ABO system that is considered to be of African origin. 9-10. We conclude that the genetic evidence points to distinct origins for the Paleo-American populations. This molecular evidence supports a possible early colonization of the Americas, not only by Melanesians as suggested by Hub et al., but also Africans. The molecular evidence is consistent with Hub et al. Two-wave human expansion across America, while supporting an introduction of some Americans directly from Africa. Some researchers claim that as many as 75% of the Mexicans have an African heritage. 2. Although this may be the case, Cuevas says these Africans have been erased from history. 11.
You guys have to realize, most of you guys' theories is just that, pseudo theories. It has no base in reality or in historical facts. Everything that you spew is just fake. It's wrong. It's theories. It's pseudo theories.
Whatever the latter is, the fact is that the statuettes, mostly the ones that represents the mummy of a man, produce the whole impression of being no longer similar to the Egyptians, but purely Egyptian. I'm going to stop right there. Yeah, you guys already have the references. Please, go check this out for yourself, I will probably go, leave it in the comments whether you want me to further expound on this particular subject. I would love to, but I have the, right now I'm working on several different things. An up-and-coming thing I'll let you know about is Albert Perry. I'll be doing a piece on Albert Perry, so stay tuned for this. I've been working on this Albert Perry piece for about 2 months. Off and on, I have a lot of different projects just sitting on the back burner. So I really appreciate everybody's support out there. You guys are really make my day every day. I wake up, I see notifications, and I hear people talking about me, but from other people, like I got my homie Lungs in New York. He told me he got homies talking to him about me, mentioning how they be liking how I be tearing motherfuckers up, But especially I give thanks to Juan. Juan, oh my God, this racist guy. Yeah, man. Always an honor to have somebody inspire me, such as your racist self, and continue, please, to be your racist self, to inspire more poetry for myself. Thank you. The Nahuatl Spirit gets out. I'm out. Much love. Easy.